Hi, everybody. I wanted to show you how my tiara is coming along, and I also wanted to give you some tips on how you might put yours together. You might come up with a totally different idea than what I'm showing you, and that's fine too. You all have different supplies, materials, and different inspiration. So you don't have to use one of these methods, but you might like to. So this is mine so far. What I've been doing, I've been making my elements mostly from cut up magazine pictures. So, for example, and I have extras, might be easier. I have I've made like little pink azaleas from magazine photos and strung it on wire and have like a little bead in there. I've made little buttercups as well. It is yellow. It looks weird in this light with a little green beaded center. And that's also on a wire. Little clovers and some violets too. And the other day I made this larger section with the leaves and the little lilac buds that are little tiny purple beads. Again, my lighting doesn't look great today. So to make, I wanted mine to be more like a tiara than a crown. So I actually took a good old wire coat hanger and I cut it off with some kind of heavy duty wire cutters. Our little jewelry ones were not strong enough for this. So I happened to have some hardier wire cutters in my toolbox and I was able to cut it. So then I took that piece of wire and I bent it. I was kind of using my knee to bend it around. Remember, we want our wire to be bent around something that we want it to take the form of. So I bent it that way. And then I also lowered my headband across my forehead and I was kind of using that to get it to just the right width and shape. Then I used my pliers, again, bigger pliers than our jewelry pliers, and I made a loop on either end of my coat hanger wire. I'll show you what I'm going to do with that in just a minute. And then I just started using, I have been using some florist wire just from a craft store. It's something I happen to just have at home from when I made a wreath at one point and I had to wire the greens on. It's a very thin, like a 25 or 26 gauge wire. And I've been using that to wrap each thing that I make around the coat hanger wire. Okay, so that's keeping it all secure. I'm able to then kind of adjust where I want things to be. I can like bend them around this way or that way. I can have them overlap each other. I can make things taller or, so there's a lot of flexibility in using wire, which is why I really like to use wire for this project. So I'm not done yet. I have more of these little guys that I need to just keep adding on, wiring them on as I go around. But I wanted to show you how I would get this on my head. So these loops, I took a piece of bulky yarn. And you can use ribbon. You can use anything like that. It's probably about a yard. I put a little knot in each end so it would not fray. And what you do is you just put the yarn through both loops of the wire. Okay. Now I have the ends hanging out here. I use this length of yarn. I put it right behind my head. And then I can take my ends here and tighten it and tie it so that it is adjustable and I can make it a comfortable fit that way. So that's a really simple way to get it on there. All right. And it's going to stay. It doesn't move around, doesn't fall off. It can, You have a larger head, smaller head, doesn't matter. That's a great way to do it. It just kind of looks like that in the back. Okay. Now, you might like the idea of a crown more than a tiara. And one way that I think is a pretty quick way to get at least the structure of a crown is with a cereal box. So this family size cereal box seems to be a good size. So all I did here, it has this kind of wavy edge to it. I cut out a strip. Okay, so straight at the bottom, and then I made kind of a wavy edge from end to end. Thing is, we don't want to see the stuff on the outside. So you can actually take one of these and then just flip it. Just be careful so you don't rip. And you can flip, I just ripped it. Did it with another one here that didn't rip. You can flip it inside out. Okay, so now you've got the plain cardboard that would have been on the inside of the box is now on the outside of the box. And you can paint this. You could decoupage, so like cutting out colorful, different colors from magazines and kind of gluing them on, trimming off the edges. That's another way to make it colorful. So we're not just seeing plain cardboard because that doesn't look so great. And you can glue the things that you've created. Like me, I put these on wire, but if I was gluing it onto here, I wouldn't even need to do that. I could just glue it right on. But if I wanted to wire them so they could bend around and have a little more movement to it, I could poke holes for the wire. So taking even like a safety pin or like my little vote pin here, taking the pin from that because they're nice and sturdy, they're short, so they won't bend. You can just make a hole right through your cardboard with a little pin, and then that gives you a place to then put wire through if you are using wire as part of your construction. Okay. I am just finding that even taking some plants apart, like after I sketch them, I've been like pulling off the petals, pulling off the leaves, looking at the shapes of those petals, and then just recreating them, right? Like tracing them onto the back of the magazine paper, cutting them out. And you can do cloth. You can do a variety of things. Some of you on the Zoom the other day talked about using string. That's fine. And even like taking something like this, I don't know that I love the way the wire looks here. I might, once it's all done, I might wrap right over that with some like green yarn wrapped really tightly so I'm not seeing any of this wire. Lots of options. Don't wait until the last minute to start putting this together. You have a week to do it. And I would suggest that you try doing a little bit each day so that you aren't saving it for the end and then possibly running into problems and then running out of time. Okay, if it's something you've never done before, you don't know how long it's going to take. So let me know if you have questions. You can always email me. I can do a private Zoom with you. You can kind of show me what you're working on, and I can give you some advice or suggestions of how you can put it together. Okay, I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. I am having so much fun with this project, and I really hope that you are too. Those of you that have sent me sketches, they look really good. You're taking your time, you're noticing those details, you're noticing those shapes and those textures. Now it's time to start thinking about how are you going to make it? How are you going to recreate that, using recycled materials? In some cases, you might use the actual materials. I could put a twig in here if I wanted to. I'm not going to put the actual leaf from my violet in here because it's already starting to fall apart and it would shrivel up and look horrible by tomorrow. So that's why for most things, you'll be remaking them. Out of whatever materials you happen to have around. So have fun with it, experiment, Your first, trying to create something out of another material might not work. So you try something else. Okay. And again, I am here to help you. Just reach out, let me know, and I look forward to seeing your creations. Have a great day. Bye.